weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue, because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, you know, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there on this 218 pounds or whatever a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned. And he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That will be a record not going to be broken again in a long. So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal.
I don't know why Democrats would fight this. How is this a thing? Like, how is it a thing that you would fight the most fundamental freedom that you have as women? Because most of it is a feminist agenda that's taken over the Democratic Party, and that's why we call them raging liberals. It's a feminist agenda that's now being perpetuated against your own people, the people that voted for you the most. You are allowing for men to participate in your sports, and you want to challenge that? First of all, we shouldn't even have gotten to the point to where we're challenging it. We should be having a conversation about why it even got instituted in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't even something that was asked for by voters. And usually what happens is when people are elected officials, they have to do the bidding of whomever it is that elected them. And so how did this become an issue? How did this become a thing? Right? Because I understand that feminism hijacked the civil rights movement. The alphabet community hijacked both. And now we're down a pathway, which largely I lay this at the feet of Obama, because Obama was his landmark, not even legislation, but his landmark moments that he continued to champion is all based off of the fact that he wants the alphabet community to basically be able to take over and designate themselves as whatever it is that they want. Now, there's a lot of people that have theories as to why Obama is so adamant about this. However, it is on his feet. He is the one, in my opinion, that spearheaded the movement from the top of the legislators all the way up to the president of the United States of America. He is the one that really championed and spearheaded this movement, and now is ran rampant and out of control. And so this is one of the reasons why I consider him a very bad president, or the things that he's done has been much worse than the things that he's done positive. And I do have some positive things to say about Obama. I think that his immigration policy was largely in line with Trump's, but it's no reason why we should still be even having this conversation. It never should have came up in the first place, and we should not be championing men and women's sports. We should not be identifying men as women. That is called delusion. That is called insanity. That is called crazy. 100%. And now that you have a president that's willing to stand up and say, listen, we have to protect women. If that's not one of the most fundamental things of feminism, he actually aligns with you. He actually is championing you. And so he signed executive orders, amongst other things that he's doing for Americans, that basically says, listen, men can't be in women's sports, and we only identify in two genders. And women and raging liberals are actually fighting against that. But let's hear more of what Trump has to say, speaking to the governors. Let's hear what he has to say, because I think that this is hilarious.
What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die. And it's crazy, but the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports.
Now, some people call this toxic masculinity. I just call it standing up for women and being a man.
So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively. And we're going.
Yo, listen, the one thing that you can't do is you cannot threaten Trump with court. That is probably the last thing that you want to do is get into a court battle. If nobody learned that lesson, CNN certainly just recently learned that lesson. All these social media platforms are learning a lesson. A lot of these people are starting to settle. CBS learned the lesson, especially over 60 Minutes and all of that. They're learning this hard lesson. The last thing that you want to do is face Trump in court. He's basically beat every single that's why we call him the Teflon Don. He's beat every single thing almost that you can think of when it comes to court, including even when Biden was in office and they leveraged the Justice Department against him, especially in New York and in Atlanta and down there in Florida. This is the last thing you want to do is see Trump in court. He is going to wipe the floor with Maine. And the governor, I think her name is Janet or Janice or something like that. We're going to have to do some research on that. I don't even know why she's defending this. The last thing that the governor in Maine wants to do is see Trump in court about making sure that they can continue to allow men and women's sports. The NCAA has complied. The NCAA has complied immediately. They didn't even trip. They immediately made sure that they put in protections for women to ensure that people that have testosterone levels that are too high cannot participate in women's sports. I think that this is a slam dunk. This is an easy conversation that we can have. It's not even something that we need to be debating at all. But, of course, we're going to have these people that really, really want to have these conversations. They really, really want to stand on business with it. And I don't understand it personally, but they're going to find out soon enough. And then Trump is threatening federal funding from the state that refuses to comply with the executive order. And then they threatening talking about, I want to see you in court. You know, one thing that I've always understood, and I understood this from corporate America, and I'm going to let you guys go, was diplomacy. Diplomacy. One of my managers said that I needed to read a book by Henry Kissinger, who, by the way, was the backbone of a lot of these different things that was happening in the president's office before he died. Served both liberal and conservative presidents. And it really helped me because it helped me to understand that it's easier for you to win victories when you have the people in power on your side. And so you got to play chess, not checkers. I don't know what these liberal governors is doing and what they're talking about, but it's going to be a bad day for them, especially for voters who largely swung red and obviously want changes in our federal government and in our culture. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.